Right. So welcome, Ashwini, and tell me, why did you decide to do this session? And
Yeah,
before that, like, how do you know me?
yeah. Hi, Anshul. So I I just happened to come across a few of your LinkedIn posts as well, which I saw in comment channels, and I started following you on Instagram, and I found it very inspiring. So that's how I got to know you. And then when you posted about these career counseling sessions, this has been on my mind for some time, right? So even at my workplace, when I see people from different backgrounds with whom I work. Sometimes I feel like this looks interesting, better than my job, and I feel
Right.
like okay, maybe I could try this. And then I've been having this feeling that I should try out something different. And even though what I'm doing right now, like I do it well, I'm good at it, but I'm not very passionate about it, right?
Hmm.
And I don't like wake up every day and look forward to my work. So that is one main reason. I want something which makes me excited about my work, and I would want to help people and everyone around me by doing that. So I
Hmm.
think with my current work profile, I'm not really doing that. So that's the main reason I thought I should try career counseling. So that's luckily when I came across your post, and thank you so much for taking this up. Uh,
No, thanks to you, for having the courage to, show up for this. A lot of times I hear from people who would like to improve their career, but they, just never take the next step, which is probably fixing a meeting and getting on the call, even though you don't have clarity on what you want to talk about, even at times. So, kudos to you. So Ashwini, I sense that, wherever you're working, you are good at your job, and probably there is more context there, like how long have you been working and all. And maybe you would want to touch upon a little on your journey so far, just to get a sense of how long have you been working, what is the area you work in, and how many years of experience you have. Also, what are your academic qualifications? If you can just walk me through your journey.
Yeah, sure. So I have done my engineering. I passed out in 2015. I did my BTech in Information Science and Engineering, and I got placed in Oracle right after that. So I've worked there for 3 years now. Sorry, and then yeah, 3 years, and then like that was that was the first company I worked with. So I was all excited, like I got a job, I got something to do. But then over time, I realized that it's not something I like to do. That's when I switched to a different role, and then I got into it. And Intuit is an amazing company. It's really good. So initially, I was on that high, like I got a really good job and I'm doing so well. But then what happened is over the years, it's been 5 years now. I'll finish 5 years in June. June 2018 was when I joined. So over the last 5 years, I've changed three teams, and
Mm-hmm.
every time I've changed teams, I'm like, for some time I'm like, okay, this is something new. I'm getting to learn a lot, right? And then
Hmm.
after some time, it hits saturation, and then I'm like, I don't like, it. It's not like I don't want to do this anymore, but then I don't look forward to doing it anymore, right? And even though I did my studies in my graduation in technology, I feel like technology is not it. We need more of commerce and economics. I have an interest in economics, and I feel like there are so many more areas to explore. And I am not a person. I cannot be that person who just wakes up and works on tickets and finishes and does this job. Even though I have a very good work-life balance, and everybody at workplace are helpful, I just feel I don't have that sense of fulfillment when I do things here. So that's the main reason. Like I am looking up to do something apart from what I'm doing currently. right? I have had an option of doing higher studies in technology itself, like doing an MS or something, but I feel like I won't be doing justice to it, because I've seen my friends who are very passionate about technology. Like every time I speak to them, they are like, that there is this new thing in the market and you should read about it. It's so amazing. I don't feel the same about technology how they feel like, even though I believe that everybody needs to be a little updated, like, and needs to be aware of what's happening in the market. But I feel like people who are like that passionate, maybe like most of the industry should be filled with them, and people like me should should belong somewhere else. I don't know where exactly. I'm yet to find out, I guess. So that's when I started talking to people in different roles in my organization itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to managers, I spoke to product managers, I spoke to program managers, and I spoke to a couple of designers as well. And I feel like all these different roles have so much so much to offer. Just even though they are in technology, but they are doing different things, right? And I see
Mm-hmm.
that they are passionate about these things. So I think mostly where I'm coming from is, you see, if you ask me right now, I don't know what I want to do, but
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure out. I'm trying to read about different things, um, but I'm not able to figure out what. And
Right.
recently, there's a friend of mine who was a CA. I mean, he was still a CA. He
Mm-hmm.
was working with a firm, and he just quit his job, and now he's into trading.
Mm-hmm.
Just to quit your regular job and just to start something by yourself, but he loves doing it. So I'm like, if even I want to find something which I love doing, because he
Mm-hmm.
does what he loves doing and he makes money out of it. So I think I want a life like similar to that. So
Right.
that is the
Right.
main,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, reason.
Right. So, thanks for all that context, Ashwini. Just quickly, I would paraphrase what you said, just to see that we are on the same page and I got your story right. So, it's been 8 years for you working in IT industry. You started as a BTech graduate in computer science with Oracle, and you have worked with two companies so far, and both are, like good brand names to be associated with. And then 5 years you are with your current company, and you have changed three teams so far. And every time it was like you felt a saturation level is reaching, and your current profile has nothing, not a lot for you to offer. So you switch teams, to get more excitement. And then, there are people out there who have found their passions and feel very fulfilled in life. And you kind of take inspiration from them that you would also like to reach such a stage in your life where you feel more fulfilled and all of that, right? So so quick observations, Ashwini. So first thing about a job is, initially it's exciting. It's like a relationship. When you get into a relationship, you're trying to understand another person, and you're talking to them a lot on the phone. You're meeting them, and it's like there are aspects of their personality that you don't know, and you are discovering. And similarly, it is with a job. So you get into office, you don't know what the work would entail, and then there are so many aspects of a job. Like there is relationship building, there is negotiation skills that come into picture, there are various trade-offs, and you get to exercise so much of your brain power in these everyday interactions, written communication, verbal communication. And over a period of time, you become good at it, like it becomes your muscle memory. And so the excitement dies down. So you are in search for more fulfillment, and that is the case with everything. Even like parallel relationships, over a period of time, they also, the charm begins to fade away, and you may decide to be still together, but it's not the same. You miss those older times. So the point I'm trying to make here is, it's normal as a human being that excitement dies down even at jobs, and you continuously need to rediscover yourself. And that's why we are talking that you have realized that you have reached this stage, and there are some changes that you would like to make. Now, coming to the
Mm.
second point of this observation, which is, um, one great thing that you did was, talking to other, your cross functions, and, understanding what is it that goes in their job. Now, the part with any job is that, 80% of it is shitty and 20% is glamorous.
Mm.
20% is what the user sees, at the end of the day, people like you and me, when we use Google search engine, for example, this is what we see, clean interface and all that. But we don't know that, the hard work that goes on behind it just to keep it up and running for, millions and billions of users worldwide. And that is where the shitty part comes into picture, which is like a real hard work, which involves working on technologies and not, real connections. Like some of it is working in silos even. And
Yeah.
so grass feels greener on the other side. What we see is mostly, the glamorous or sexy part of it. Now, one thing, one introspection that I would like you to do as an exercise, as a key takeaway from this session is, um, try to see how your job impacts your products, the products you work on and the people you work with. So maybe, ask your team and, people you work with, what does your work help, how does your work help in improving or building the product? And,
Yeah.
something on those lines, like, something, one thing that you do that is about your job and that has helped product in last 3 months. You can make the question very specific, but the benefit of doing this exercise would be that you would see what is greener on your side as well. Because a lot of
Yes.
times we miss that. We just fail to see that, what I am doing is glamorous to other person as well. And chances are they want to be in my spot. So, it's about building the perspective that what I'm doing is not as bad. So try to do that activity, and if you would like my help to build frame that is specific question that you can ask to people, we can continue this conversation on Instagram if you would like to frame that. Um, does is that making sense? Anything till so far?
Yes, I mean, I kind of have done that already. So,
Mhm,
see, currently I'm in an individual contributor role in a big team, right? So, what I feel my problem is, so currently how in MNCs you have teams and you're given a list of tasks and you distribute it among the team members and get the work done. I think I don't enjoy being this might come out very wrong, but I don't mean it to be
mhm,
like that. I think I want to take more decisions. I don't want to just follow like what somebody else has told me to do. This is basically like, you're assigned tasks to someone, just get it done, no questions asked. I don't
mhm,
think I enjoy such role. I
mhm,
feel like I want a role, like I'm looking for a role where I can make impact directly. I can, negotiate. I can talk to either, a client or whomever I'm developing the product for, or, I can, because most of the times, I feel like some tasks which we do are so redundant, and it's not like I've not tried to bring this up in our environment, but this I've seen in all corporate, scenarios. They don't
mhm,
really consider all this because most of the decision has been done by the either the manager or the product manager, and then only the implementation comes to us, right?
right.
So yeah, so that is where I feel like I feel like I see a few people in few roles in my teams, and I feel like I can do this job and even better than this. So
Right.
but I feel like I can't do it with the current qualification that I have, and I need to, either get a certification or do some course, and then I'd be even more confident and I have that knowledge. And then when I make such statements, I think would make a like more impact compared to when I do them now. So
Mhm,
I was also considering getting an MBA done.
mhm,
If you ask me why, then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it will just open up,
mhm,
a little bit of areas for me. And I don't want it for one particular reason, because basically because I want to expand my knowledge, right? I want to know what goes on, because right now I just have technical knowledge and whatever I've learned in the last 8 years in my experience at corporate. But being exposed to how consultancy works, how negotiations
Yeah.
works, and one of my friend has recently joined a program from ISB. It's
Mm-hmm.
a general management program for executives. So even he was mentioning that, they get a lot of practical sessions there, and they get to speak to a lot of CEOs, CTOs from different companies, and they tell you their use cases and whatever real life decisions that they've made. For example, he was saying that uh, which is that company that owns Maggie, something from N, right? I
Nestle,
forgot.
Nestle.
Nestle, yeah. So how the Nestle or the Nestle management handled when there was a ban on Maggie, right? So all
Mm-hmm.
these things are, it's when he was telling me, I was excited. Like, I want to know about all these things. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know how people generally, because if you have to be in management, if you have to be in roles like this, you have to be very diplomatic. I feel like I can't be diplomatic, and I need to learn that. So I think, sometimes I think like getting a higher education in administration might help me in that. But at the same time, there's this fear that maybe I'm just having a midlife or quarter life crisis, and I'm doing this because everybody around me is it. So I think that way as well. I feel like it, and I've even attended a lot of calls from different universities like INSEAD Paris. So their introductory call, it was really good. They had alumni from different fields, like an ex-marine and a businessman from India, and then a person from an engineering background. So even they had different profiles, and the cultural diversity there was also, like, it was surprising for me. So I feel like, but I'm confused right now. See, I've like gone and I've checked everything, but I don't know what to do right now.
Right.
So
So Ashwini, the objective of this session is to help bring you clarity, right?
correct.
So I will not tell you that this is the path you need to take, but
Yes.
at the end of this session, what we would like is, all the things that are jumbled up in your head, probably you would see, this, there is this one clear path that I can start on. And, there will always be dilemma once you have even started on that, but at least you can confidently start on one path. So coming to your point about that you are in an IC role and you would like to, take on more decisions and be in a position where, like a manager or an executive. So, one thing about this is it comes from experience. It depends on experience. All the things we talked about, like negotiation skills, like, dealing with, like legal teams or finding a workaround to that, these are the constraints to their product, but how can we still launch it in the market? I mean, you would be familiar with all of this. And I think you are at the right juncture in your career to take on that next level role because, you boast of like 8 years of experience and this is the time. So there are two ways to go about it. One, of course, is academics. A lot of people take MBA degrees because they feel one, it assigns more credibility. Second, it gives them some real skill around, like debating, argumenting, being assertive. So all of that does come with an MBA. But I hope you can understand that these are also the skills which do not come to you overnight. These are also like
Yeah.
baby steps. आप एक argument में जाओगे जहाँ पे assertive हो जाओगे, that doesn't mean कि अब आप assertive label हो. That means you did this argument went well, but tomorrow there will be another opportunity where you might lag, you might feel neutral about yourself, or you might feel very good. Now, sometimes we also feel that there are very hard and solid ways to go about some things versus the way could be more smoother and gentler. So you do not have to make a radical shift in your life right now, like मैं job छोड़ के MBA कर लूं या कुछ. That is something I would never recommend to someone in a position like you, like, solid 8 years of experience and associated with big companies, what I would recommend you is that if you want to take that course, maybe do the executive one, which is like on weekends, or if your company funds or something like that, you can do that. But that is secondary. What I would recommend primarily is that you start building those skill sets that you want. And the beauty with the big companies is that you can craft your job to suit it to your needs. So you can take um, more of those your responsibilities that you would like to perform, and kind of move away from some of the things that you do not want to do. So to help you understand this more, let's do a little activity right now where I want you to like make a vision board of your job responsibilities. So something like a before. I'll show you how before and after, and something just like this. Before and after. And in before, I want you to write like some uninspiring or boring parts that you don't enjoy, and in after, I want you to write some possibilities, basis some things you enjoy or want to do more.
In the
So
current job.
in the current job role, right? So not thinking of, like 3 years into the future, but thinking of, like अगर कल मेरा जॉब अच्छा हो जाए मेरे हिसाब से तो वो कैसा दिखेगा. So before is like आज की जो situation है, जो uninspiring और boring parts हैं, you mention those here, maybe 3. And in after, you just mention 3 parts that you would like to do more, like a possibility.
Okay.
Take your time and think about it for few minutes.
I think I'm done.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it,
Uh, yeah, so I got three. It's very generic. So first thing is currently I just work on my product, and I just work on things which are enough to run the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is before. And in after, I think I would like to plan for new updates or features that my product would have, and how to make it more efficient or robust.
Mm-hmm.
That is an after.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And second one is in before. Currently, only some of my teammates are aware of how to do certain things in my team for our product.
Mm-hmm.
And after, I think I want to educate everybody in the team and make everyone independent so that nobody comes to me or to anyone to get things done. Everybody will be capable in the team to do that. All right.
So you're saying there are some things that only you can do, and right now, that puts onus on you. So you would
Yes.
like to, others be capable of doing that. So your
Yes.
workload is reduced.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
And um, third one is currently tasks which we work on are picked and prioritized by our PMs and EMs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think in after task must be prioritized by engineers who are working on it, because we know the system better and we feel like we should get to pick what we work on.
Mm.
So that is an after.
Right. Right. So
Mm.
this is great, what you did, and I'll tell you why this is great. Um, so there is something called job shaping, Ashwini. So which means that to find fulfillment, you changed teams, took internal mobility. You can also shape your job to make it more meaningful to you. Now
Mm.
let's look at your first point to, to kind of see how this may be practical. So, the first thing you mentioned was you would like to plan for new updates and features, and how can you contribute to making the product more robust and efficient. Now, thinking about how you could do this now. So, I think this is the time when a lot of companies do next fiscal year planning. As soon as this new year starts, I'm sure your team might be doing, like FY24 planning or something like that. And this is a time to provide your inputs. Now there are some meetings which happen for planning. There are some documents that are created by multiple teams for this purpose, and you could be part of some of those synchronously or asynchronously, and contribute your viewpoint. It may not be super solid, your viewpoint, but there is somewhere that you have to start. Even if you finish your MBA and you get placed in a company, you would have to start somewhere, sharing your opinion or viewpoints that this is how I think this could be done. Now, you could also make this very explicit to your manager that, this is, I would like to be more involved. I've been with the company for 5 years, and I think I'm ready. And show me the avenues where I can do this. Show me some, meetings or documents where I can contribute. And just to start contributing, you can, provide an original viewpoint. You can ask a question. You can build on someone else's viewpoint. Even if not in talking, you can do this through comments and chats to overcome your initial hesitation. And that's where you can start talking about the second point, which is teammates being aware of some skills and you would like to disseminate those. In your case, mentoring is one of the things which provides a lot of satisfaction as well. You could take on one person as a mentor. That would be a great start, just mentoring one person, and making this also very explicit to your manager and teammates that and you may be having these team meetings where you should start saying that I think there is a skill set which lies only with few people, and it would be very nice to take the burden of everyone's plate if some more people can learn that skill set, and I'm happy to mentor one person as a start, and once they learn they can disseminate it further. And this would grant you so many brownie points. You may get spotlights, you may get whatever your company offers in terms of spot bonuses, or recognize you basically. And this may also play in your perf review, that you went over and beyond your job. And that's how people who are like overachievers, they perform. They look for these opportunities, these grains of opportunities, and act on them. They take them seriously. So this is another way. And to your third point is priority by EMs and PMs, and you would like more involvement of engineers. This is also something you can say, and get involved in those documents, in those meetings. Very similar to the first point, that if you feel you have a lot of context about something, if you feel you have a perspective, then continue refining that perspective, so people are more willing to take that into account. And this would be a journey. It would not happen tomorrow, but even if you start and set a goal for yourself कि आज मैं एक मीटिंग में कुछ बोलूंगी, या आज मैं एक डॉक्यूमेंट पे कुछ लिखूंगी, and then you can seek support of your teams. That's what companies do. They are always there for each other, people. So you can say to your manager कि strategy documents देखने हैं मुझे, and by making it explicit कि this is what you want to do, and this is how you want to take more responsibilities in this area. So what happens कि जैसे जैसे तुम ये थोड़ा थोड़ा करोगी, you would gain more confidence and good feelings, feel good factor about what you're doing currently, versus feeling a sense of non-fulfillment.
Okay.
Any questions on this? Did this make sense?
Yeah, I mean, this does make sense. Uh, and I try to do that. I try to do that as well. But, sometimes even in your workplace, when you're the only, like, kind of, you're the only one in the team who is young, and everybody else is like, a little older
Yeah.
than you. Sometimes they tend to, they ignore your input, even though it shouldn't happen, but it happens a lot with me because in my team, I'm the youngest of all. Even though I'm in a IC3 position, sometimes they just don't consider what I have
That
to
is
tell.
that is
And I
really
have
true.
brought this up with my manager multiple times, and he's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, that we'll keep this in mind next time. But it's the same story every time. So that what
Right.
happens is it demotivates you. You're like, why will I even say anything, right? So
So one thing to to kind of build a thicker skin is that I'm sure you would have faced a lot of rejection and ignorance, just because you are a woman. A lot of times people don't take us seriously. Like there are books written on how women are seen as unfairer sex in corporates, and how their voices are not heard. They're not given a seat at the table. There is a whole Sheryl Sandberg philosophy around that. But even if they ignore you because you look young, you got to continue doing it until they listen to you. So thinking about me, I look very young, even though I have like 14 plus years of experience. And at times I also feel that, they don't involve me in a lot of things where I should get involved, or people at my level are getting involved. But that doesn't mean that, I crib about it to, someone who would listen and just get done with it and, feel sorry about my victimizing state. I continue pushing for it कि ठीक है इस मीटिंग में नहीं हुआ मैं अगली में करूंगी. And then this is what I'm saying, if you build this mindset, you would start seeing opportunities कि ठीक है मीटिंग में नहीं बोलने दिया, but मैं डॉक्यूमेंट में तो कमेंट कर सकती हूँ ना. Let me hunt for that document. And you have this big team. I'm sure a lot of documents flow to you every day. Just go and start typing some solid viewpoints. कुछ documents का link इधर उधर से देना, लोगों की नॉलेज एनहांस करना बेसिकली, कि पता है ऐसी एक रिसर्च भी हुई है कंपनी में, और यहाँ पे एक ये डेक है जो मेरे को मिला, एंड दिस टॉक्स अबाउट दिस, एंड इट सीम्स वेरी वैलिड टू व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग. People will start taking you seriously. They won't take you seriously because you ask them to take you seriously. They will take you seriously if you do some work in which they find value. So I know it is a tough thing to understand, and it may feel disheartening that बहुत hard work है और बहुत ही chaotic है, मुझे पता भी नहीं start कहाँ पे करना है. But once you start, it's like a getting your foot in the door. तुम्हें वो सब opportunities दिखने लगेंगी. And
Yeah.
like I said, there is no set protocol at times which we are looking for, but it's more like, a gentle flow कि ठीक है यार, आज मैं हाँ करके देखती हूँ, आज मैं हाँ करके देखती हूँ. Trust me, it would do lot of wonders because that is what worked with me. एक के बाद एक, दूसरा या दूसरा, ऐसे डॉक्यूमेंट्स में लिखते जाना, चैट पे पहले मीटिंग्स में कुछ कुछ अपना व्यू पॉइंट लिखना, फिर धीरे धीरे बोलना शुरू करना. And all of this led me to, where I am today, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Right. So, tweaking your current role to the possibilities that you see. And, हमने तीन identify करी हैं. Even if you work on one of them, और कुछ
Oh,
trials हैं, कुछ miss हैं, उनमें से कुछ भी resonate होने लगेगा, तो you would start gaining confidence. And then the direction would become clear कि यार अब MBA करना भी है, जरूरत भी नहीं है उसकी.
okay. Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
I kind of gave up after some time. I'm like, there's no point to doing this because they just don't consider. So,
Exactly. So, the solution lies in not giving up. अगर एक चीज वर्कआउट नहीं हुई तो दूसरी ट्राई करेंगे.
yeah.
दैट शुड बी द एटीट्यूड कि अगर मैं मीटिंग में बोली चलो इस बार किसी ने नहीं सुना, ठीक है मैं दूसरी बार बोलूंगी. आई वुड ट्राई टू मेक अ स्ट्रॉन्गर आर्ग्यूमेंट. मे बी दो चार डॉक्यूमेंट पढ़ के आऊंगी इधर उधर से. राइट. मे बी एसिंक्रोनसली करूंगी. एसिंक्रोनस का मतलब कि आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स में कमेंट्स दे रहे हो या चैट में, मीटिंग की चैट में एक्टिव हो, वहां से शुरू कर सकते हो. दैट आर लो फ्रिक्शन. But don't stop doing it. This is what, every women leader in the world teaches, ki demand that position and they will continue ignoring you. राइट. और ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको कहीं झांसी की रानी बन के जाना है तलवार लेके. दीज आर आवर बैटल ग्राउंड्स. यही है कि मेरे को इग्नोर नहीं मत करो. आई वॉन्ट टू से व्हाट आई वॉन्ट टू से एंड आई वॉन्ट टू बी हर्ड.
Yes, very true.
So Ashwini, we have less than a minute. Tell me, something good you got out of this session.
Yeah, I guess I kind of needed that reminder that I shouldn't give up, because most of the times we are like, there's no point to doing this. Why am I here? Let me just leave. I think that's the reason I kept changing teams also, because after a point in time, you can't just expect things to happen overnight. But I get what you're trying to say. Like, keep at it and try, and, they will start seeing the efforts and they'll start recognizing. So,
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's a good reminder. And thank you so much for that.
Yeah, if that is the bigger problem, Ashwini, even if you change teams, if you change company, if you change institutions, it will stay until you resolve this, until you face this fear and you kind of grind through it until, sun shines.